Residents across southwest Wisconsin say they're in an uphill battle against a proposed wind energy project they believe could reshape the driftless region. Our Shayna Najawan spent the day speaking with landowners in both Iowa and Lafayette counties. She joins us now with their concerns. Shayna.
The residents I spoke with say this has been unfolding for years, and we actually first spoke with some of them back in 2024. They say they've attended meetings, pushed back locally, and now as the project moves through state review, they feel they're running out of options.
We don't have advocates. I honestly feel like we don't have representation.
Eric Bakken owns property in Iowa County. He says neighbors have been raising concerns for years as the proposed Uplands Wind project moves through the approval process.
I really feel like from the outside looking in, people think that we just don't want to look at turbines. And that's part of it. But there's health issues that go with this. There's environmental issues that go with this.
So we learned that these over 650-foot turbines were being placed within a half-mile of our home.
Some residents say their concerns intensified when they learned just how close turbines could be.
Why is it that they've chosen the driftless region? Why is it that they've chosen Linden and Waldwick and Mineral Point for these turbines? Why not Mount Horeb? Why not Milwaukee? Why not Madison?
Across the county line in Lafayette County, Lisa Braley says she received a required notice from the developer.
We just received a 90-day notice from Pattern Energy, and that is a requirement of the PSC, and telling us that they're planning on putting an industrial wind turbine project very near this property, as well as my property adjoins the Yellowstone Lake State Park and Wildlife Area.
She says her concerns go beyond the view.
Could impact all of us in some really horrific ways, like well water contamination. It could contaminate our Class 2 trout streams. There's just so many things that are wrong about this.
Town of Mineral Point Chairman Bob Oberhauser says projects of this size fall under state oversight.
The PSC doesn't allow local government to stop these things. 2009, the legislature passed state law that prevents us from intervening at all.
Opponents say that leaves them with limited local options and concerned about what happens next in the driftless landscape.
Regard the people that are here, regard the people that are coming here, and regard the uniqueness of this landscape.
And while they acknowledge the push for renewable energy, some residents say turbines should be located farther away from residential areas. Live in the studio, Shayna Najawan, WMTV 15 News.
In a statement to WMTV, Pattern Energy said, quote, Uplands Wind has actively engaged in a comprehensive community outreach process, fostering open dialogue with community members and local officials to share information and gather input. They went on to say the project will adhere to all applicable regulatory requirements through a process that is open to public participation and will be built on private land with landowners who have chosen to participate, end quote.